I think I already used like 15% of my monthly thing that's on the morning.
Okay.
Hot
Ah,
stuff.
because they broke the wire from the internet.
They broke it?
Yeah,
And shame you could or?
no, when they tried to walk, they
Oh,
you see
accident.
outside.
Okay.
I
So why
just
don't
went
you call
downstairs
to have it
to the
repaired?
water.
He only had somebody come 2 o'clock. He sort of like ran off or whatever. Some pussy was just, I mean, it's very nice.
So Rabbi, how was Pesach?
Baruch Hashem.
We go.
Baruch Hashem. It was beautiful. Now that you're here, it's even better. Let's go.
There's people.
Okay.
Yeah,
For you,
Ah, to
this is for you.
two. Wow.
Yeah, two.
Yeah.
Here. That's a Zoe.
But for the whatever they could in order to bring Mashiach, they're not here. Okay.
Okay.
So is there a particular significance to Koach?
Yes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol midvarim.
Amen.
And the Rebbe was a regular Maidav. It seemed like a regular Maidav. And here's a copy of the Sikha. Here's a copy of the Sikha. Thank you so much. Here.
Yeah, it's all right. Two for
This. Okay, fine.
two for
This is Shahakal or Mazonis? This is Mazonis?
After Pesach is from his hands.
No, this is Shahakal.
Why?
Oh, that's
Pesach?
That's from Shakal. That's from
It's
Yaakov.
before Pesach.
Just up.
Okay.
The thing.
Okay.
That's from Yaakov.
Thanks for joining us. Here. You know, let's start with the Rambam, and we'll do the Sikha maybe.
See you go
40 years ago, exactly. In other words, 40 years ago, the Rebbe spoke about this idea of having learning the Rambam. It was an Achron Shal Pesach, and they started learning Rambam on the Sunday right after Pesach. So Baruch Hashem, now it's 40 years. Tonight is a special connection at the end of Nissan, and we're trying to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. We want that the 132 Rahman al-Islam captives that are Rahman al-Islam, the hand of the terrorists, they should come back. All Klal Yisrael should have one big pidyon shum coming back to the base of Mikdash Shlishi v'viz Mashiach Tzidkenu. Let's read a little bit the Rambam. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Tshuvos HaPerek Tes, Moshe, you get a double copy.
Oh, thanks, wow, very much.
The Rambam writes, why were why is it Nesava? Why is it there's such a desire for the days of Mashiach? To have a rest from the nations of the world that are not allowing them to learn Torah and do mitzvahs properly. They should have a restfulness. In those days, there will be an abundance of deya, of smarts, yeah. So there'll be an abundance of deya, chochma, and emes. Today, unfortunately, there is a diminished amount of chochma, and there's even more diminished amount of emes going around in the world. We can put on the radio or to tune into the news to hear. Shenem, as it says, Kimala Oretz Deis Hashem. V'nemar v'lo yilmudu ish esochem ish esreyu. V'nemar v'seroisi esleva even mibesarchem. Three psukim talk about the awesomeness of the days of Mashiach. That king that will be from the seed of David, he will be, his wisdom will be more than Shloim. He will be a prophet, and his prophecy will be close to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. Therefore, he will teach the entire nation and show them the way of Hashem. In other words, because he's so smart. Had he been not so smart, then who is he to be qualified to teach every single Jew? There's going to be big people around there. The Rambam, the Ramban included, Moshe Rabbeinu Avram Avinu included, because his wisdom will be even more than Shlomo. He will be qualified to teach every single Jew. Every single Jew will find Chachma in him. V'yovi kol hagoyim l'shama. Even the nations of the world will come to hear him. K'nemar v'oyev achris hayomim nochen yiyeh har beis Hashem b'rosh hahorim. So the whole world will come to hear Mashiach. The ultimate of schar is Olam Haba. It will be a natural world. The dominion, a kingship, will go back to the Jewish people. Let's quickly jump over to the next piece of Rambam, which is in Rambam in Hilchas Malachim Perek Yud Aleph. The next piece, Yamed Melech Beis David Hoge B'Torah, V'Oisem B'Mitzvahs David Aviv, Keviru Torah Shebiksav V'Shabal Peh, based on what's written in Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shabal Peh, V'Yokov Kol Yisrael Leilach Bolach Hadar Vitka, and he forces all the Jews to go in its ways and to strengthen in the ways of Torah. Then there is a chazaka that is Mashiach. It is Mashiach V'Adai. The attack in Kol Olam Kul Elav That's Hashem B'Yachad. He will appear the world to serve Hashem. Shenemer Keoz Epech Elam Himself Abrura Likar Kulam Hashem Hashem Olav the Shechem Echad. That they will all serve him. To the Eibishter. Shechem Echad means like one chelak. They will all serve the Eibishter. They won't be serving idols. And then next Perek, Perek Yud Beis Aloch Daled. Lo Nisavach Chama Nevim L'Mais Mashiach. Lo Kedei Sheishlu Tol Kol Olam. Lo Kedei Yirdu Ba'akum, not that they should have dominion over the nations of the world, not that the nation should elevate them, not to eat, drink, and to be merry. So he really is referring to Cheshuva, but there is some massive differences. First of all, when he profiles who Mashiach is in Hilchas Tshuva and Hilchas Malachim are very different. First of all, in Hilchas Tshuva, you would expect in Hilchas Malachim, which is the ultimate, should talk about the qualifications of Mashiach, that he is his Chachma, his Yesem Shloima, his Navi is his Kor of Moshe Rabbeinu, Lefikach Yilmet Kol Ha'am, Derech Hashem. No, it's funny that Rambam picks to put in the Cheshuva. Yaakov Kol Yisrael, to say that he's going to force the whole all the people to go in the way of Torah. You don't need to have a wisdom of Shlomo Melech. The guy's a good big whip, a couple of good soldiers. He has a good police department. So if he has a couple of good police, then he give from Moshe 2 copies. Lechem Mishnah. So why is it in Hilchas Tshuva we're talking the qualifications of Mashiach, and we're telling about Mashiach being about Chochmah, more than Shloima, a Navi, close to Moshe Rabbeinu, and in Hilchas Malachim we're talking about different qualifications. Also, in the anticipation of Klal Yisrael from Mashiach, in Hilchas Tshuva, it's a little tampered down. It says that the Jewish people are anticipating it. Nisavu Kol Yisrael v'Nevi'ayim. In the one hand, we say Kol Yisrael, every Jew is anticipating the days of Mashiach, but it's not so sharp as in Hilchas Malachim. In Hilchas Malachim, it's the other way around. The desiring for the days of Mashiach is only Chachamim and the Nevi'im. Not everyone here is a Chacham and a Navi. Everyone here is a Chacham and a Navi. Gentleman and a scholar. Not everyone.
He doesn't use the word Kol Yisrael.
It doesn't use Kol Yisrael. L'idich, it's very intense. Lo kedei sheyishlutu, v'lo kedei sheyirdu, v'lo kedei sheinasos, v'lo kedei lechel, v'lishtas v'lismoyach.
Everything is negative.
Yeah. So what's going on? First is it's a nice pirush. I just figured look at this for a minute. It's called Seder Mishnah. Yes, a kaposh kasha. It says that Navi Godel who called of the Moshe Rabbeinu, that the Mashiach is going to be a prophet almost as good as Moshe. The truth is that the Chazal say that in the Haftorah that we had in Achron Shal Pesach, Yorim v'nisa v'gava moed, Yorim me'Avram v'nisa me'Moshe, and even greater than Malachi Hashodas. So the truth is that some of the Mepharshim say, it's a mistake. It should have said Navi Godel Yosem Moshe Rabbeinu. But a little bit doesn't fit because the Rambam writes that the person must believe that the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu is supreme, that there never was or will be a prophet as great as Moshe Rabbeinu. So it does make sense that he writes that Navi Godel who caught of the Moshe Rabbeinu. But on the other hand, the Chazal say that he's going to be bigger. Huh?
That includes Goyim or just Yedim?
Anyone. And the Rambam says that the person must believe that Mashiach is Moshe Rabbeinu is the greatest prophet. It's a pasuk in Chumash.
Doesn't hold that. The Balaam was a greater.
No.
So how could Chazal go against what's written in the Torah?
Oh, so the truth is the Mittel Rebbe says that we say Chacham Adif Minavi. There's some things that a Chacham could get more. So when the Chazal said he'll be greater, it didn't say in prophecy. He'll be greater in other issues.
In Milas.
And we say the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that the Arizal says that Moshe Rabbeinu only understood he could see all the way to Atzilus to Netzach and Hoyd. But the Arizal said about higher levels than Netzach and Hoyd and Atzilus. Higher than Atzilus. Arich, Atik, all kinds of things, much higher. The Alter Rebbe says, the Moshe Rabbeinu went like this. He looked. He could see. 2020, he could see clear. Until Netzach v'Hoyd, he could see in Atzilus, he could see clear. And then Arizal was megala to us what's going on. He didn't have 2020 vision like Moshe Rabbeinu. Chacham Adif Minavi. That through Chacham Satoida, he was masik deeper than Moshe Rabbeinu, but he didn't see it with that clear vision that Moshe Rabbeinu saw. So, Ken Kasha, Agroisa Kasha, this nish, but I just want to show you how one of the Mefarshim deal with this. Novin God Lukor of Moshe Rabbeinu Olav Hashalom, L'chayra Dvarim Alol Soitzim, Masham Chazal Betelchuma, V'huve B'yalkud, in the Parsha of Hine Yaskel Avdi, V'yorim V'nisa V'gava Meyoid, De'iros Al Melech HaMashiach, Yorim Me'avram V'nisa Me'Moshe, V'gava Me'Malachi HaShoris, Areshe Yiyah HaGoyel Tzedek, Godel Me'Moshe Rabbeinu Olav Hashalom. He'd be even greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. Greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. Hold on. Achris bonus needed Kidvar Hashem Emes Piv Rabbeinu v'Sheish Shuvas B'Dover. Choda the income Mema Yisrael and the Rosa Yosef Lamena Dimim B'Miktzas. When the Tanchuma says that Yorim Mei Avram doesn't mean bigger than Avram. When it says Nisa Mei Moshe, it doesn't mean bigger than Moshe. It means similar to Moshe. That's one pshat he wants to give. One pshat he gives, it doesn't mean bigger. Moshe and Romer Azal B'Sanhedrin, Pei Vayigdol Kisem Mekisacha, Orech Ha'ara, Lekel
Malka.
yeah, Me'en Ka'amri, Minoshem Oil, Me'en Ka'amri, Ochinami Ochid, Shem Elois of Shemashiach, Me'en Ma'elois Avram, Me'en Ma'elois Moshe, Me'en Ma'elois Malachi HaShoris. Void Afim name there was a man poi. He Gamkin Yisran. Second shot, even if you say it over here, when Chazal say Mi Avram, Mei Moshe, and Mei Malachi HaShoris means even bigger. Like I give you a shot. Ein bazeh misnagid l'divrei Rabbeinu. It's not going against what. Yeah, like Avonu b'medesh shalaniz daiti kachu. Ki atzlochis v'teves hamedina v'yis l'melech haMoshe l'la gimel mailas b'hem. Tashlam Elohim Asher Tachlis Mem Shalta Yatzlochis Medina V'Yosh from the Betel Kedavards. For a king to be a successful king, there's 3 points. Okay, ma flogas Milas Eila B'Moshel Ba'om Kain Tigdal Toivus B'Shalvus Ima Achoisim Betzel Knof. That as big as the Milas the Melech has, that's how successful the country is. And Achas Shaloyi Amoshel Oyev Kesef Harvest Kenyonim. If the ruler of that country likes money, all he likes is money, the Sinner Zayin Azef in that country. Because then he could always bribe him and you could do shtick. Because then he's going to make, he needs more money, so he needs more taxes. Esuleinu. Into the people, that he's going to eat into the flesh of the people. That's what the pasuk says. So number one, a king that has a big tivus, he wants to build like all those European, some big castle, and the castle costs a lot of money to build. So
Bad for the nation.
so it's bad for the people. Shenis shetia einei hamoishel pekuches lahamtzi teref liyamar. That
Not to make good business.
oh ulahazme machzorim v'sipuk tzorchem laman lo yishlechu b'avlos yedem k'mayim ha'kochem al yavozu. That people steal, white people a lot of times is crime in countries. So there is a way of thinking, which is that crime happens because people are desperate. I'm not talking about terrorist stuff, talking about petty crimes in countries. So alle frume Yidden sind geworden Republicans, große Republicans. But I'm not a politician. I don't know what's the right way. But there is a few mahalchim in dealing with crime. One mahalach in dealing with crime is to say that all these crimes are only there because people are never desperate. If you made a situation that people shouldn't be so desperate, there wouldn't be that much crime because a normal person doesn't want to live a life of crime. If you make the situation in a country in a way that you incentivize people to go to work and to live a good life, and then there won't be crime. So the second thing of a melech is he figures out how that there should be hatzloche, that there should be teref le'amoy. That's why the Shlomo Melech says ad yavoize leganav, because lamalas nafshiki yidav, because he's hungry. Ve'yimtzu mokum lechalkel as beisim berevach ve'yoichel lachmam lesoiva. A smart ruler doesn't have to have so much police, doesn't have to have so much jails, doesn't have to have so much policing. He figures out a way to give training that people should have jobs, people should have housing, people should have families. Shouldn't go on always gross Republicans over here. I don't know. Every time you read these things, Chazal, I don't know. So anyway, Shlishis.
My father had a student in his class, a Bildachai. So you know what I mean, Bildachai? It's hard to but to put a lot of effort. He was an army, gets married, and he has a big job in the Israeli police office, like a mayor, but in the police, like very high. So he came to my father one day and he says, 20 years ago I was in a class. If we put more education, it'll cost the government much less money for the police. He said, it took you 20 years to understand.
Yeah, put the welfare off.
I wish you understand it when you're in the class.
And the welfare officer.
Shlishis, Shiur shel hamoishel be'amoy, mispashet esloi belvad ala oma yoshim tachas mavshalti. El gam ala om asherch nem sobach legvule mesavev leman lo yisu roish nilchem boy. Third, a smart ruler makes sure that he has not a small police force, but a big army. Why a big army? So that all the nations around the world will be scared to ever start a war against him. Turn the page. He has a big army, but he's not trigger happy. He's not trigger happy. He's not looking to go to wars. He invests, and he has an army that all his neighbors are scared to ever start war with him. But he doesn't go out to war. These are the three things. Hayamoyes bebetza v'kinyone azman v'shil shelo yomer melech stem ani yesharti es Avram hishlich meneged kol ha'oishe v'abiza shehoyo roi loi v'mishpet hadas aloichem l'achzik b'yodem ashlala shesholu l'meiveim v'omer emoisi yode l'alerim mchut v'atzruch nal v'leilok betza kesef ki lo yinechshev me'im l'me'uma. The first midah of Melech HaMashiach will be like Avraham Avinu. Just like Avraham Avinu, when he was successful in this unbelievable epic war between 4 or 5 kings, he said, "I don't want mechutat tzruch now. I don't want." Avram did not have this thing, a taiva for money. Melech HaMashiach is not going to have a taiva for money. So he's never going to have that problem. He's not going to be like, what was that Disney castle is based after Ludwig, that funny king, that he had such a fantasy about having himself a palace, and he kept on charging his people taxes and taxes and taxes, and he built a palace, the unbelievable castle he built himself, until the people from the Melech. So they called a doctor and they declared him a sugar, and they put him in an asylum, and then they killed him again.
It was the president, like mid-1960s, decided to build a highway. Sure, for 15 cars will hold half the country. Just
So-
the same logic.
So that's the story with the first mile. The first mile is Azavi Avram Avinu. So money doesn't mean anything to him. Second mile is he's like Moshe Rabbeinu. Roya Nemen Moshe Rabbeinu Kol Ishtadlusa Hoya L'Sapet Tzrachem Shel Yisrael BaMidbar. Ad She'ama Eicha Es Levadet Torchachem Masachem V'Rivka V'Omar Oid Yisoyim Rolai Yisrael B'Chaket K'Sheyisoyim Nasayanek. So therefore, the second mila that Mashiach is going to have, he's going to care about every individual Jew, more even than Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu cared about every Jew. Mashiach is going to care that there should be not one Jew that will be Nebuch stuck somewhere. Mashiach will care for every Jew individually. And the third mile of Mashiach is Malachi Ashoretz Matzinu Aflagos Minyan Amoira Asher Heim Metilim Ala Brias V'Omer Eishes Manoich Labailo Umareu Kemare Elikim Noida Malach Elikim Noida Meoid Whenever Becheskel V'Goyvelam V'Yirolahem Negavusam Emosam V'Yirosam Hotel Seren Kashatipol Emosam V'Fachet Alananas Ha'Roya Es Anak V'Nishtabach Shol V'Malas Koimas Goyva Kimosa Kolom Lies Inni Meshubach V'Melech Shubal Koima V'Omer Kol Mishu Nimshach V'Shavan HaMishcha Nasa Bal Koima Yitelatoi. What's the Tayelis? That Melech has to be someone that people are scared of him. Malach Yeshodes, everyone's scared of the Malach Yeshodes. So Mashiach Tzidkeinu v'zeu kavonas hamedesh ba'omroi. The Melech HaMashiach, the Yisachad B'sholos Eila HaMailas. He's going to have 3 unbelievable milas. What's going to be the 3 milas? Number 1, the milas of Mitztarchas Lis v'Moishel Amim Rabim Minyan. His lack of interest in Taiva is going to be more than Avram. And the mile of being concerned about every individual Jew. And number 3, Asher Mosem Rak al Royos and Valoy Shameam Mehem Mashenkin Achoiter Asher Yetze Megeza Yishay all of Nema Venochel of Ruach Hashem Ruach Chochma Bina Vihike Eretz B'Shev Piv Beruach Svos of Yom Yisrosha El of Goyim Yidrosha V'Hoyim Nechose Kovid V'Emes V'Shalom Yibiyomah Omna Milas Hanavu Lo Kom V'Lo Yokum Acher of Kemosh Av Kegodel Mamosh Madreges Anavua v'lo yala ladash yishum noitzer mishtav l'mosher ben malas anavua. Kal v'chem megodol mimena ad bilti shemayim lo yidma l'nem beisam adreges anavua shehu masik berotzen akel yidborech. Very cute shot.
Like a human being.
Yeah, it's heavenly. That he's going to have 3 milas. The mila of Avram Avinu, that Avram had such avad Eibush, they didn't care about a dollar and about a nickel, a chutat tzruch nal. Mashiach will be even more than that. And it's important. He's going to be a melech in the whole world. A melech that has even the slightest thing that he wants. He wants this, he wants that. It takes away from his koach to be a melech over the whole world. So it leaves a little room for scandals or something. Melech HaMashiach will be more than Avram Avinu in that mile. The second mile is to care about every individual. Moshe Rabbeinu cared for every single yid. Mashiach will care for every yid individually even more. And the third mile is that the nations, the world will tremble to do a avla to a yid, because at Moiraham Metzitterim from Mashiach, more than they're going to tremble. Unbelievable, more than even the Malachi Hashonis. Kaponim, the let's go back to the Shaila. So why is it in Hilchas Tshuva, when we talk about the qualifications of Mashiach, we're saying he's a Bal Chochma and he's a Novi. So we fanfit and what's up shot? Yosem Ishloime, Horev L'Moshe, qualification. And then in Hilchas Malachim we say, what's his qualification? That Yaakov called Yisrael, Yilchem Milchemes Hashem. What's going on? So the Rebbe says, very simple. We have to look at the context of Hilchas Tshuva and Hilchas Malachim. The Rambam has two milas for Mashiach. Mashiach is going to have two jobs. It's not every person is that way. Well, the Moshe Rabbeinu have two dinim in Moshe Rabbeinu. He b'shura melech, he was a king, and also he was muflash b'Sanhedrin. There was 71 members of Sanhedrin. He was the one, and he gave merucha unto the other 70 zakanim. He was the muflash b'Sanhedrin. So he was a Rosh Yeshiva, and he was also a melech. In Hilchas Tshuva, Yidden we're talking about a Yid that's doing Tshuva. He wants to be inspired. He wants to get close to Hashem. We're talking the milas of Mashiach as a Rosh Yeshiva, as a Rebbe. So what's the milah of a Rebbe? He has a Novi. He has to have a Novi. You know the story of the Alter Rebbe, that the Alter Rebbe came to the Magid. So we spoke about the Shabbos, how the unbelievable nisyonos he had until he got to the Magid. His wife gave him permission to go away for 18 months to get himself a Rebbe. And then when he came back, she was so thrilled. She saw that he was so satisfied. She sent him back. And he was stayed by the Magid until the Magid passed away. When he came to the Magid, he became one of the Talmidim of the Magid. The Magid used to send him to the other Chavedim of the Baal Shem Tov. And the Magid stayed in one place, but when he wanted to, so that he would send the Alter Rebbe sometimes on a shlichus. And even though the Alter Rebbe never wanted to go away, but if the Rebbe sent him, he sent him.
This is 26 when he was very young, whatever.
Yeah, he was 18. The first time he came to the Magid, he was 18. He left his house. He was already married, and he went for 18 months. He was 18 years old.
We got married at 14.
Yeah, he was 18 years old.
Don't forget, 89, you already said that Shiur and Rambam, nobody.
In Kiddush HaChodesh, okay, verstehe. And
before Bar Mitzvah was the genius.
So the Magid sent him. It says in Beis Rebbe, sent him to the Pinchas Koritza. A few tzaddikim, one of them is a Pinchas Koritza for Shabbos. He sent him to the Pinchas Koritza.
That was the time of the Magid.
It was Talmud. No, the Pinchas Talmud in Hashem Tov. He was a friend. A lot of the Talmidei, it was a pella that the Magid Afka became because there were much bigger Talmidim than the Magid. The Magid Taka had a certain Maila that his lomdus was unbelievable. We know this from the Alter Rebbe because the Alter Rebbe said, it says in the Beis Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe said that this is the famous thing. He said, I know a little bit, I want to go a little bit, I know how to learn. To daven, I know zero. So he had a choice. He wanted to go to Vilna, go to Bezish. He said, first I'll go to, he said, Simon, he says, if I'm not going to see Chidushim, Gadlus and Torah, I'm going to leave right away. And he came and he didn't see Gadlus and Torah. He was planning to leave. But he said he's going to go say goodbye. He's not going to say goodbye. He's just going to go. And he came to the Magid, and someone came in with a shaila with a lung. And the Magid started to be mespalpo in the Rishonim and the whole sugya. And the Alter Rebbe saw that was mamish chochma lekis. That's when the Alter Rebbe decided that he's staying. It's interesting. The Alter Rebbe came to learn how to daven. I'm just pointing something out. He said, "I'm coming to learn how to daven," but in his mind, if he's not going to see Kedushim and the flaws in Gemara and Rishonim, he wasn't going to stay. So anyway, the Magid passed the test. He stayed by the Magid. Once the Magid sent him on a Shabbos to go to the Pinchas of Koritz. So he sent him to go to the Pinchas of Koritz. You know, we're ready for Farbrengen. Let's make l'chaim. So Isaiah used to love to tell a story about his father. His father was Take. He was secretary of the Rebbe Rashab and Frierdiker Rebbe. But Chilas Yomov, when he got married, he had a business. Things were not so bad, and the business was good. And he used to go all over Europe he had like a factory. They made talesim. He used to sell talesim. So the Rebbe Rashab, before he was once going to Varsha. He was going to Warsaw to do business. So the Rebbe asked him, "No, did you go when you went to Varsha? Did you go to Atish?" He said, "No, I never went to Atish." Like it was in his mind that it was a Lubavitcher Chossid. He's going to go to Atish. He's a Chossid and he's a Talmud of the Rebbe Rashab. So the Rebbe Rashab told him that the next time you go to Varsha, he wants you to go to Atish. Told him where to go. And my Zayda said his father told him that he went to the Tish. And he didn't see nothing. I'm telling you, okay, I have to make a time. Otherwise, I said it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'sha'akol v'dvarim.
Amen.
Like so, my Zayda said that his father told him he didn't see anything. The Rebbe Rashab told him he has to go. He's going to come back. The Rebbe Rashab is going to ask him, "No, what did you see? And what is he going to report?" He was very nervous about it. He listened to everything. He looked at everything. He said, "Ashreinu matem chalkeinu." I'm lucky that my Rebbe is the Rebbe Rashab. He came back to Lubavitch, and the Rebbe Rashab never asked him any question about what happened. If he saw Koach, he said, and my elders told my father he understood why he sent him. Anyway, so the Alter Rebbe the Maggid sent him to the Pinchas of Koritz. So the Pinchas of Koritz was so taken by the Alter Rebbe, he wanted the Alter Rebbe to become his Talmud. As I mentioned before, the Maggid was not necessarily the most likely choice to have become the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. There were Gedolei Yisrael who were older and spent many more years by the Baal Shem Tov that L'choyre should have taken over, and the Pinchas of Koritz is one of them. So the Pinchas of Koritz after Shabbos told him, "If you stay with me, I'm going to teach you. I want you to stay to be my Talmud, and I'm going to teach you Sichas Oifes, Sichas Dekolim, the Soid of Ruach HaKodesh and Nevuah, a whole list of things it says in Beis Rebbe." The Alter Rebbe told him, a Yid has to know one thing. Echad Yochid Vod. And that I learned by my Rebbe, the Maggid. So mainly the rest is not Negeya.
Like you know it anyway.
So that was it. And then he came back to the Maggid. The Maggid didn't ask him a word. The Maggid said, Take, the main thing a Yid has to know is Echad Yochid Vod. I'm going to teach you the side of Yehuda Elo and Yehuda Tato, which is Echad. The ultimate of Echad. In other words, who knows what the pshat is? I think my Zayda had a simple pshat of why he was sent, but the Alter Rebbe was a complicated thing. Why did he send him? That wasn't a joke. But the Beis Rebbe says at the end of the chapter, it's chapter 2 from Beis Rebbe, that the Alter Rebbe B'Soif Yom said he understood why the Maggid sent him. You have to hear the word. That to be a Manik B'Yisrael, you have to sometimes do a moifus. And so Ton Moifsim, he learned from the Pinchas of Koritz. So in other words, the Maggid, the stories you hear from the Maggid, you don't hear from the Baal Shem Tov. Your story is flying. He's flying from here, he's flying all of a sudden. 2 hours later, they landed with a wagon in the middle of a different country. You don't hear the stories about the Maggid. Even if you say that some of the stories of the Baal Shem Tov, we don't know have an exact Kabbalah, but about me and you, they didn't make up such stories. They only made stories like this about the Baal Shem Tov. The Maggid, we don't hear such stories about the Maggid. The Maggid sent the Alter Rebbe because for it, Tzdav Zayin, in order for him to be one day for a Rebbe, for Klal Yisrael. So the main thing is to learn Torah. But Amol, you need a little bit of trick or two to pull out, to move the magic wand, to help out a Yid with Hamoifis. So for that, he sent him to the Pinchas of Koritz. Mashiach has to have 2 functions. The function number 1 is that he teaches Torah to Klal Yisrael. Function number 2 is that he's a melech over Klal Yisrael, over the whole world. The world is terrified to start with the Jew because of Mashiach. In Hilchas Tshuva, we're talking about the qualifications of becoming a Mufla B'Shem Sanhedrin. Even Avraham Avinu is going to come here Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu is going to hear Torah. Obviously, his chachmasa has to be, his qualification is that his chachma is even bigger than Shlomo HaMelech. And his nevu is Korev LeMoshe Rabbeinu. And that's why the Rambam continues, Lefikach Yilmad Kol Ha'om V'yoydoisem Derech Hashem. Even the Goyim will come. Because as we spoke about Shabbos, the Rambam says that the Goyim have to keep the Sheva mitzvahs. They keep the 7 mitzvahs because Moshe Rabbeinu told it to Klal Yisrael at Mount Sinai, not because Hechre Adas. So the Goyim will also come, but for him, the qualification to be a Rebbe, his qualification to be a Rosh Yeshiva, to be a Muflash Sanhedrin, is Chochmasa, is Gedoyle Mi Chochma Shloim. In the Hilchas Malachim, we're talking about being a Melech. There were a lot of the Rambam says that Melech Yehoshaphat was not a scholar, and he used to kiss the hands of the Talmidei Chachamim. He would call him Rabbi Alufi Moyodoi. He would be Machavet Talmidei Chachamim, unbelievable. But he himself was not a Chacham. Even David HaMelech, that he said Yodai Meluchlochas Bedam Shapir V'Shalya, but he says, the Gemara says, he used to ask difficult questions to the Sanhedrin. So there could be a Sanhedrin, there could be a Melech. Mashiach is going to have both milas. In order to have the milah of being a melech, you don't have to be a chacham more than Shlomo. You see a lot of malachim. You don't have to be such a big chacham, but you have to have a certain character. So number one, he has to be Dr. Rambam. He has to be Beis David. Number two, he has to be hoige b'Torah. I don't care. I want to know, is he hoige? Hoige means gesteigt. Hoige means that he's working by asmada. Like we spoke about the Shabbos, that Reb Chaim Vital was brilliant. It must have been a big time because he got smicha from the Mari Beirav. He was younger than the Arizal, and he took the Arizal as a Rebbe for himself. And he writes that my Rebbe, the Arizal, was a brilliant Talmud Chacham in Nigla the Torah, and he learned every sugya. And he would learn every sugya shisha ponim benigla b'Torah, v'pam achas b'nister. And the Reb Chaim Vital says, v'hoya mazia zeya gedoyla ad l'ma'oid, when he learned. L'chayda, if that was Taka so smart, and as you see Taka, as we spoke about the Shabbos from the Shita Mekubetzes, that he wrote with his Rebbe, the B'tzal Ashkenazi, that they had manuscripts of Rishonim that for hundreds of generations later, we didn't have, and they had so much wisdom to put together the Shita Mekubetzes. So why did he have to learn until he was Mazia Zeya Gedoyla Ad L'Mayoid? Why? Because the Rebbe Zog that that's the Maila of Hoige B'Torah. So that Arizal wanted to have the Maila, not just the brilliance that I versteht das Sugya gut. There is a certain Maila that a person learns Torah and is Misiageya. That Dafki is Misiageya B'Torah. So same thing here, that the Rambam says there's 2 qualifications for Mashiach. One is he has to be Muflash Sanhedrin. Number 2, he has to be a Melech. He has a din of a Muflash Sanhedrin and a din of a Melech. In Hilchos Tshuva, we're talking about the qualifications to be a Rosh Yeshiva. Okay? So to teach Torah to Klal Yisrael, is to be a Chacham, bigger than Shlomo Melech. To be a Melech and that the nations of the world should tremble from him, that's different qualifications. It doesn't have to be a Chacham more than Shlomo. Number 1, he has to be a descendant of David HaMelech. Number 2, he has to be hoige b'Torah. He has to be hoige b'Torah. And number 3, he has to be v'yokef kol Yisrael. He forces people and he influences people in the strongest possible way in order to go leilech bo lachaz gebitka. And that is the qualification to be a melech. So Mamela in Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam is talking about one set of qualifications in order to be a muflash b'Sanhedrin. And Hilchos Malachim we're talking about a different thing. Therefore, it's different than Amos talking about different things.
I have a question regarding the kind of a Meshach Bena. How is that possible, being that Meshach Bena spent 40 days in Shabbat? How can any human being compete?
So it depends. If you're saying Milas Hanavua, Milas Hanavua, no one could compete. The Torah says that no one is ever going to be as great as Moshe. But in other milas, like we said before, that the Rebbe said, Chacham Odif Minavi, that we see that Arizal he said, that Rizal said that Moshe Rabbeinu saw until Netzach V'Hoid, and that Rizal himself was Megalad the things that are much deeper. Alter Rebbe says why? Because he had the mile of Chochem Adif Meinavi, and those miles he's going to have more. That's the answer. That's why the Tanchuma says that Yaskel Avdi Yorim Avram v'Nisam and Moshe Govim Malachi Hashoris is taka bigger than Moshe Rabbeinu, but not in Milas and Avua. Milas and Avua loikam benovi k'Moshe. Okay.
They say Beruchu Berech Hashem. It's not going to judge on Pesach. Smell.
Right, so that's a Maila Mashiach that we don't have otherwise. Another Nakuda here, is spoke about that in Hilchas Tshuva it says Nesavu Kol Yisrael Limois Mashiach. In the Rambam in Hilchas Malachim, he doesn't talk about Kol Yisrael. He talks about Nesavu Chachomim VaNaviyim, not Kol Yisrael. Zok the Rebbe, if you look closely, it depends what we're talking about. For Hilchas Tshuva, we're talking about Yid was to Tshuva. And he's learning, he got it ready to Rambam, Hebedek Test, Hilchas Tshuva. So we're talking about a Yid that's, and also, what do you want in Hilchas Tshuva? Is Kedei sheyenuchu mimalchi sheinu manichin lehen lasach betoyre b'mitzvos koigen v'yimtz lehem argoya v'yirbu b'chochma. That every Jew wants. Which Jew? Every Jew wants to learn Torah and do mitzvahs koigen. Elamai, he has a problem. The bank wants once a month he should pay his mortgage. The credit cards have a maisa. He has a job. There's time. There's overtime. There's headache. There's overheadache. There's overhead. And Mamela, every Yid, all Yisrael is Mesava, Limoisa Mashiach, Kadesh Yenuchem Malchus, Sheim Anich Lasik Betoira. But in Hilchas Malachim, we're talking more than that. He's saying, Loi Kadesh Yishal Talk Holoilam. V'loi kedei sheyirdu ba'akim, v'loi kedei shenaso isam amim, v'loi kedei lechol v'lishtas v'lismeich, ela kedei shepetuim b'toyra b'chachmasa. Can't say every Jew has that type. A lot of Yidden want to learn, but they want to have Torah Gdula b'makom echad. They want to have Torah Gdula b'makom echad, that I could learn, and every hour I'm going to have a shayna shtickle mazoinus with a coffee, and the zeros in the bank are growing right after some nice numbers. You can't say that no Yid, he's not interested. He say, no, I don't want to be shoylet on other people. I don't want to be shoylet. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I don't want to be smoyach. I only want to be ponim b'torah chmose. You can't say that for every single Jew. So in Hilchas Malachim, we want to say the ultimate. The ultimate is that a person wants Yimoisa Mashiach not in order to learn Torah and also to have a few slaves and also to eat and drink and to be Mesameach. So that you can't say, and not every Yid. So therefore, that when we're talking about the ultimate is that a Yid wants Mashiach not because the Kazakhs are coming, they're burning his burning his house, and they're stealing his livestock, and that they're making a pogrom, and it's so dangerous, and Eden lived for 2,000 years. Eden lived with pogroms. You know how terrible that was. Eden always lived with pogroms. It was a terrible thing. On and off, wherever they went, they lived with pogroms. They could never live. So emissary pogroms. Rahman al-Islam, emissary pogroms. He didn't have pogroms, mamish like that. Like my grandmother used to describe when she was a kid, the pogroms, bunch of pogroms. And my grandmother one pogrom, they didn't know if it was safe to go back to the city yet. So her younger brother said that he heard it was safe. So his mother said, no, Yankel, don't go back. But he went because they didn't have anything. And he got killed on the way, never came back. So to say that a Yid wants Mashiach, not because I should have dominion over the goyim, I should eat, drink, only to learn. You can't say that. So in Hilchis Tshuva, where he didn't say loy kedei yishlatu, loy kedei lechel lishtas esmach. So there he says, with bnei zen isav kol Yisrael, v'neviyeim v'chachamim li'mois Mashiach. Kol Yisrael, every Yid wants Mashiach to come. But what's going to happen? I can learn Torah, I can do mitzvahs. On the side, I'll have a healthy bank account. I'll have a good pension, mitzvah Shem. I'll have a few shiksas working for me. Machaya, Erev Pesach, Erev Shabbos. Everything is taken care of. All I have to do is learn Lakutei Torah, Lakutei Sichos to get myself spiritually ready for Yom Tov. After Yom Tov, when I come home from Sudas Mashiach, the shiksas and the goyim, they're already packing up all the Pesach dishes. They already put it back. They know already from year to year exactly what to do. How can you say that a Jew shouldn't want that? A Jew does want that. So the Rambam doesn't blame you for that. So in Hilchas Tshuva, he's talking about Kol Yisrael. He doesn't say that loy kadesh yishtu, loy kadesh yirdu, loy kadesh yinaso ismam, loy kadei lecha v'lishas v'lismoyach. Rambam can't say it. It's too much to expect from every Yid. So Hilchas Tshuva, we says Kol Yisrael. We're not talking so much about Malchus. We're talking about the Mashiach as a Rosh Yeshiva, which every Yid is Negeya. As the Mashiach as a Melech, it's Negeya for the Shlechte Goyim. That's not so Negeya for every Yid. Hilchas Tshuva, we're talking about the Mashiach as a Rebbe. Every Yid needs a Rebbe. Every Yid needs a Rosh Yeshiva. The Shtaz Azach, a Yid that doesn't need a Rebbe. You know that the Rebbe it was a story that the Rebbe used to love to tell. There was a pogrom, and there was a Yid afterwards that came, Nebuch, he had nothing, so he went to the villages, the Goyim, Ratzachta v'gam Yerashta. He sees his own table, and he has to buy it with a few cupcakes. So he tells the guy, this is my table, and you're charging me money. He says, what? So it's my table. What do you do? Chair. Buys a chair. Then he sees his tefillin. He says, but the tefillin is my design, Ivan. That's not your tefillin. It's my tefillin. You have to give it back to me. So the guy gets angry. He says, Sam Saposhnik. Sam Saposhnik. I'm also a shoemaker. I know how to make these shoes and these slippers. So the Rebbe had this, in the early years, the Rebbe used to Farbrengen like freely. The Rebbe used to say that a person that says that he can find his own way in Avodas Hashem, he doesn't have to have mashpia, he doesn't have to have a Rebbe, he doesn't have to have a Rosh Yeshiva, he can figure it out himself. It's like this person that said Sam Saposhnik. Well, you're telling me I can make my own. I'm a shoemaker. As if the goyet kizak lahavdel alaf of dollars. Every Yid needs to have a Rosh Yeshiva. Every Yid needs a mashpia and a Rebbe. So for that, we're saying Kol Yisrael. So the type of Kol Yisrael, you can't expect loy kidei shishlu to a Kol Olam. So, but in Hilchas Malachim, where we're talking about the Mashiach as a Melech, which beikid is it l'atak an olam of Malchus Shin Daled Yud and break the hand of the Rishoyim who are tormenting the Yid. It's not negayah so much every individual Yid over here. The qualifications Mashiach as a Melech. And over there, Taka, the Rambam talks about the ultimate. And over the ultimate is Taka, the Chachomim and the Nevi'im. By them, Moshe Mashiach was not that I will learn Torah and also I will be in a good standing financially and I'll be able to be lechel v'lishtas v'lismoyach. No, it's true that I'm also going to be lechel v'lishtas, like Chazal can say, kol ha'roidef acha ha'koved, ha'koved bereach mimen. Call a person runs away from COVID, the COVID runs after him. The Welt sagt, that's how come some people, they run after COVID and they get the COVID. Chazal say if you run after the COVID runs away from you. So the Welt sagt, Chazal never said you're not going to catch it. Some run so strong like the marathon. But for most people that are running after COVID, they don't get it. But the Behir, Lemois Mashiach, these Chachamim, they don't want Mashiach in order to learn Torah and simultaneously Lech Lishtosh v'Lismoyach. Lech Lishtosh v'Lismoyach. But Lepoil, the Eibishter is going to make that even though they're not looking for Ashirus, they're looking for Parnasa, they should be, but the Eibishter is going to make, that's when the next halacha taka and Rambam is that the Kolam Adanim Etzim Ka'ofa. That the taka, they're going to be Berech Min HaKovet, but the Kovet is going to be Roidef Acharem, run after them. So the emphasis is, Meken Zogen Azoi, it's a Farbrengen, so we could say like this. There's two ways when Yidden wanted Mashiach. One is the like in Hilchas Tshuva, the Koachs are burning the house and they're killing the livestock and so it's life is unbearable. But Iker they wanted Mashiach in order to learn Torah mitzvahs kahogen, but also the pot of enu from the goy. there's a higher level of wanting Mashiach, which is Nehilchas Malachim, that Taked Chacham Neviim is loy nesavu kedei sheishlatu, kedei sheyirdu, kedei sheinasu isam, kedei lechel, elo kedei sheyupnim b'toyre b'chachmas. The Rebbe says that today in this world we have this Maila. We have this Maila, the Taked Baruch Hashem today. We don't have these Nisyonis that Yidden had in the previous generation or for 2,000 years in Golos. But still, a Yid has to know that the place of a Yid is not in Golos. A Yid has to be close to the Eibishter. And therefore, we have a certain Maila that when we ask that it's not because also the Kozak is coming, is on the way. But be'emes, because we know that the Yid is in the wrong place. Where is the Ava? Where is Yida? Where is Rachmanis? We're not learning Torah, learning Sechnish, daven Sechnish. So it bothers us. So therefore, that's why we want Mashiach Tzidkenu. So that's an unbelievable opportunity. So that brings us to the Sikha tonight, is Koach Nissan, that the Rebbe had said a Sikha, which later became clear that the Rebbe knew that that his time of saying Sikhs until Mashiach comes is limited. And the Rebbe was talking about Haytochen. So turn the page, page 119. Apila Omer Liil al Dvar. Here. Apila Omer Liil. Apila Omer Liil al Dvar Adgoshus Inyan Geula Bisman Hazeh. Miseres Tmi Achi Gedoyla Yetochen Shnebli Abet Akol Anyonim Adayin Loi Poalu Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Poel Mamish Dovish Any moving Klal Klal Tmi Anei Sefesh Mesasfe Masora Mi Yisrael B'Yachem Bisman Zakem Negela Geula because it's Feidish Nissen. Lafel Pichein Ene Marishim Lefoil Bias Mashiach Taken from Yad Eloi Mufrach Etzlam Rachmon Litzlan Shemashiach Lo Yova B'Layla Zeh. How could it be that 10 Yidden are together, David Maidiv, and it's not out of the question that Mashiach shouldn't come? V'gam mocher lo yova Mashiach, v'gam mocher etayim lo yova Mashiach. Rachmon litzlan, gam k'shetzoyim kimad moseh reizem ne'atzivi, because the Eibishter told us that we have to say 3 times a day in davening. V'ilo hoy miskavnim mevakshim v'tzoyim be'emez bevade shemashiach kvar hoyavo. It's bad when it's translated in Hebrew. The Rebbe said this in Yiddish, not in Hebrew. Was ken ich ton, as alle Yidden should be marish, ve'yitzak be'emes, ve'yiflu l'hobis Mashiach, ve'foyel, lachar shekol ma shenatze lo yoyel, v'rai shenimtzoyim adayim begolos void, v'ikir begolos apnimi, v'inyin avoidus Hashem. Not only we're in Begashmis the golos, v'ikir is we're in the golos pnimi and avoidus Hashem. Adav yachid shechol nilasas limser inyin aleichem, asu kol Hashem b'yacholtchem, to alt was erkennt. In Yonim Shem Ba'ofen the Oides the Toya will became the Tikkun. Because the Rebbe is so scared that if he's going to say the Sikha, people will start jumping over the moon, doing wild things. The Rebbe said, I verstehe that I meant that whatever is done is with vigor. Oides the Toyu is the energy is very powerful in Toyu. Tikkun, the Kalim are very. Oides the Toyu, the Kalim, the Tikkun is a euphemism for doing it with ultimate energy, but still being normal, nicht zedreit. Lahavi bepoel as Mashiach tzidkenu take it from Yad Mamish. Lamashal, someone said a few days ago there was a protest in California in the university, and at Moral Islam, you see that the news reporter says, "Oh, I see this yellow flag. I don't know which organization is good." Das hat der Rebbe nicht gemeint. That's not what the Rebbe meant. They should waste time to go to Anarisha. Taket Latzonis is good. Oilam Latzonis is moidedik. The Oilam Latzonis is moidedik over here. These guys are busy chanting, get these Antisemiten, durchgetriebene Antisemiten. And here this Tzeimische Goyim is getting inzwischen Antisemiten. And they're free Palestine, and they go over here with a yellow flag, but that's, I think, qualifies very much. And Oides the Toyu, Bekalim the Toyu.
In Chicago on Friday, pulling in people from the protest, bringing it stuff.
That's good. That's good. That's Kalim the Tikkun. That's Kalim the Tikkun. That's good. That's very good. That's very good. just because they're protesting Rahman al-Islam pro-Palestinian, they're not part from putting on tefillin. They're still chayiv to put on tefillin.
The guy from Koach.
So what's nicht? They're still chayiv to put on tefillin. And if they'll put on tefillin,
That's in. So
yeah, that's Tzionim, exactly.
The guy from Koach, the Galach and Purim.
Yeah.
It's putting
Yeah.
tefillin. He has a big tail, and this is.
And the Kayid.
No, I said, this is my job. I have a job.
Right, it's one of the Wie Rotzen Shesev Kol Sof Yemotza Asorim Yisrael Sheis Akshu There'll be Akshonim Shemokroch Lifel Eitz LaKadosh Baruch Hu Bavada Yiflu Eitz LaKadosh Baruch Hu K'meshkosav Kam Ksheyoyre Fu Siddur says Lamal Yusa Siddur says that that they're a nation of a stiff neck and fakir the dedication to the Eibishter is it's a stiffness L'chein v'lo salachta lavenenu chatzenu chatonu Lahave bepoilas agula mitzvah shlema take of miyad mamash. B'dei lamar lazar zed yoyser idea pula shali yoyser be'etel kol achivechem kem shlichas mitzvah lit letzedaka b'dei letzedaka shemekreves agula. See, they never had this feeling that to double, to make a double punch for every pula toiva that he does to give tzedakah. Say tehillim, give tzedakah before davening, give tzedakah to constantly give tzedakah to put a tzedakah pushk everywhere. אני שלי עשיסים מכאן על הבא אתם כל השם בכלותכם וירוצן שמוצא לכם אחד שתיים שלושה שתקצו עצה מלאסס וקיצר לאסס ואוידו יקש יפלו שתהיה הגולה המיתס והשלמה בפועל ממש תקף מיד ממש ומתך שמחה וטוב ליבה. So maybe shall helfen the taka azoi that Farbrengen taka Mashiach Tzidkenu that the only thing that you could say to what the Rebbe is saying here is that the uniqueness of our generation is what the Rebbe himself says. That for 2,000 years, he didn't ask for Mashiach. The Kozacs are given a Bamtir. But unfortunately, right now, the Kozak is Vaita Bamtir. But the Ikid is, we should ask for Mashiach. Either it's like in Hilchas Tshuva or in Hilchas Malachim. Ikid is, we should ask for Mashiach. And maybe should be Pidyon Shvuyim. Unfortunately, they found yesterday that we were davening for 133, but one of them is Eliyakim Liebman. By the way, I posted last week when I sent out the email. I posted the article I mentioned. It was an article I mentioned on the Shabbos for Lamoyed. So I posted it in the email. So if you didn't see it, you can read it. It's unbelievable. Unfortunately, one of the three parents of the three guys in the article is the father of Eliyakim Liebman. Yesterday they found
out that he's in out the soil.
Yeah, they found out Nebuch, he was killed right away. But his father said, I mentioned this in Shabbos. His father said that his father, his son called him. His son worked in a what's called company, security company, and they were supposed to do security for the Nova festival. His son called him. What's happening, and he said he's going back to save a few people. A second time he called him, he's going back to save, and the third time he didn't call again. So should be Elias and Hashama Eliyakim Liebman that they found yesterday.
But how they buried him instead of this girl? Such a mistake. I don't know.
It's hard to
I don't
understand.
understand.
It's hard to understand. But that's what happened yesterday. They found out. So David shall helfen. There's a holistic Gan Eden. There should be no more korbanos. And the 132 Yidden that are remaining should be Bidin Shvuim. It should be Bidin Shvuim of Klal Yisrael from this bit to the Golos. Vias Mashiach Tzidkenu. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. Kibon, ne Beisamig, Drajme, Drajme, okay, the Messiah Smith, what Mashiach, we don't want to. Hey, God was. No, we have to wait. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. I like the idiom. I like the idiom. I like the idiom.
Ay, 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 ay.
Do we have to wait? What must we have now?
Yeah.
We don't want to wait. Do we have to wait?
Wait.
What must I like the idiom. I like the idiom. I
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like the idiom. Baruch the Malach, Moshe, Nefesh, Kol Remar, Kevin.
Yes, I was at Big Mark Yeshiva High School today, and then I went to Rabbi.